Hi class, this is Mrs. Gracia. What we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through filling out the left side of your foldable, comparing photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So the left side is just on photosynthesis. Okay. We've made this information into a foldable because it's really something you just have to memorize, and by making it a foldable, you can really sit down and you can study and quiz yourself. You can get with a friend, you can have a parent or sibling quiz you. I think it'll just make it a little bit easier for you to memorize this material. You're going to find that photosynthesis for most of you will be a review from middle school. And the more time you put up front in studying this, it's going to make it so much easier for you when we do the other side in a couple of days and study cellular respiration, which for most of you should be a new concept topic. It's going to just come so much easier to you. You're going to understand it much faster because the two really fit together and come together as a cycle. Cellular respiration is almost the exact opposite of photosynthesis. So if you can learn or relearn in the next couple of days photosynthesis, it's just going to make learning cellular respiration so much easier for you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the definition of photosynthesis. So if we flip that over, okay, and you're going to want to just copy this down. Photosynthesis is the process in which autotrophs, and remember, autotrophs are organisms that can make their own energy, make their own food. So examples would be any type of tree, any type of plant, algae in the ocean or in the lakes. Okay, they use light energy along with water and carbon dioxide to make their own food, and that food would be glucose. When we talk about light energy, yes, we're talking about energy from the sun, but it could also be artificial lights within a home. So one more time, process in which autotrophs use light energy along with water and carbon dioxide to make their own food, glucose. So that's the definition of photosynthesis. The next thing we're going to look at is organelle, but in case you're not sure or recall what an organelle is, organelle sounds a lot like organ. Okay, so organs are structures within your body. Each organ has its own function, okay, has a particular job, but they're all necessary and they aid one another in keeping you alive as a whole organism. Okay. Organelles are going to be much smaller. Organelles are as well going to perform specific functions within a cell, and all of their functions are necessary. They all need to be working together in order to keep that cell alive. The organelle that is important in photosynthesis is the chloroplast. Okay, and the chloroplast is going to be a green organelle. That's because it is filled with the pigment chlorophyll. Okay. The chloroplast is generally a circular organ or organelle, and it aids in capturing light energy during photosynthesis. So that is the chloroplast. And again, the chloroplast is filled with the green pigment chlorophyll, as well as there's some other pigments they contain as well. So we then have reactants. Reactants start with an R, and I like to use that to help me memorize that they are the raw materials. So raw materials start with an R as well, just like reactants. They are the ingredients, what is necessary in order for photosynthesis to occur. There are two reactants. We've got carbon dioxide and water both, okay, are required. They are both raw materials. So reactants start with an R, raw materials and required ingredients both start with an R as well. Our products, okay, are what is going to be produced. It will be the end product of the reaction. And actually there are going to be two. We're going to have glucose, which again is sugar, as well as oxygen. Okay, so we've got two products that are produced, glucose and oxygen. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the equation for photosynthesis. So when we look at the equation, we're going to put together both the reactants and the products, and we're going to show how many of each of those are required or produced. I flip this over. Okay, kind of move it over a little bit. So Notice that there is an arrow in the middle. Okay, the arrow is read as yields. Okay, we're going to start on the left side of the arrow. We've got 6 CO2. Okay, so the 6 coefficient is telling us that there are 6 carbon dioxide molecules that are necessary, plus there's 6 water molecules, okay, that would yield in the presence of light energy. So the circle kind of looks like a sun with the E in it. That is my symbol for light energy, as well as chloroplast. So both the light energy and the chloroplast must be present in order to yield. The next thing we have is C6H12O6. That is glucose. That is the formula for glucose. So one molecule of glucose has 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms. Since there's no 1 in front, or since there's no coefficient in front of C6H12O6, we know that there is just 1 molecule of glucose that would be produced, plus 6 oxygen molecules. So one more time, I'm going to read over that. 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules yields, in the presence of light energy and chloroplast, 1 molecule of glucose plus 6 oxygen molecules. So that would be the equation for photosynthesis. In the space below, what you're going to do is we are going to fill out one part of the cycle that we'll eventually create under our Foldable after we've studied both photosynthesis and cellular respiration, because together they do kind of form the carbon-oxygen cycle. Okay. So on your Foldable, let me kind of just take this down so it doesn't move on me. Okay, when I fold this back over, okay, so can you see where I am? I would like you to, up in the left corner, I'm going to draw what's supposed to look like the sun. Okay. And I'm going to write in it light energy. Okay, so light energy is required for photosynthesis to occur. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to draw kind of a rather large circle. This circle is going to represent the organelle involved in photosynthesis. So if you look up above again, you'll see that the organelle, if you flip that, is the chloroplast. So chloroplasts are green organelles, and they have these a structure in it. It's called the thylakoid membrane, and to me, when I look at diagrams, they kind of look like stacks of coins. So maybe you can put something on the inside that looks like a stack of coins, and then we're going to need to label this chloroplast. Okay, so we've got our light energy and chloroplast, and I'll just try to draw some lines showing up. The light energy is coming down and it's striking the chloroplast, what would be found in autotrophs. If we go back to our Foldable, if we look up above and we flip open the reactants, we can see that the reactants are both carbon dioxide and water. So I'm going to actually write CO2, and I'm going to take an arrow going in to the chloroplast because it's required, and then I'm going to put H2O, and I'm going to do an arrow going in as well. So both of those are required for photosynthesis to occur. Our products, if we were to go back up again and look at our products, then we see that we have both glucose and oxygen under the product flag. Okay. And that is what is produced. So I am going to, on my diagram, I'm going to draw a line, okay, and I'm going to put O2 for oxygen, and then I'm going to draw another line, kind of going over, and I'm going to label this one glucose. And I think I'm going to write out the word, because most of you probably haven't memorized yet that glucose is C6H12O6, and that is something you will memorize eventually. Okay. So my diagram, we've just kind of got half of it started. After we do cellular respiration, we're going to finish this diagram. We're showing that light energy from the sun or artificial light is going to be necessary for photosynthesis to occur. Okay. That light energy is going to be absorbed by the chloroplast around organelle found in autotrophs, so it could be in plants, algae, and it's a green organelle because it has the pigment chlorophyll in it. So the chloroplast is going to need to be struck by light energy. It will absorb carbon dioxide and water from the environment. Okay. So actually the plant's roots will take the water in, the carbon dioxide will enter through the leaves, okay. And it will produce, as a product of photosynthesis, it will produce oxygen that plant or autotroph will give off, and it will also produce glucose for the plant to use as its own food source. So it is producing oxygen that it will release to the environment, and it will use the glucose as its food source. Okay, that's all the more we're going to go over today. I might suggest that you kind of color your diagram. It's not going to be necessary, but I think it would be wise to at least color that chloroplast green so that you remember that it is the organelle found in green plants. The pigment within it, the chlorophyll, is what gives plants the green color. So my suggestion is just kind of shade your light energy yellow and shade that chloroplast green to help you memorize that a chloroplast contains chlorophyll, which is a green pigment. Again, you're going to want to study this foldable over the next couple of days. You could have a parent quiz you with it. The more time you put in up front to studying and memorizing photosynthesis, it really is going to make learning cellular respiration come so much easier to you. Okay, have a good day.